What up, y'all? This is the first episode of the Wolf Winning Pick with my man.
What's happening? It's the Blue Report in the building.
Every week we'll be doing the Arkansas Grade 8, the biggest games in the state. The Grade 8. You know what I'm saying? Every week we'll get that to y'all. Break it down, Arkansas football all across the state. Byron been slacking the last 2 weeks, so that's why is that the reason we're a couple weeks behind?
Yeah, we behind, man. You know, y'all had to just hit surgery, man.
So it's okay to blame it on you?
Yeah. I'm blaming on my injury. That's
Just came off injury reserve.
I'm amongst thieves. Kane killed Abel. but still, you know, this is an interactive show. If you got any games you want us to break down, put it in the comments. We're going to break it down and give you our expert analysis.
You know it. Let's get this thing started.
Let's get it poppin'.
We got Jonesboro at Conway. Conway beat Jonesboro last year 37-16, and the Wampus Cats have won 8 of 9 in this series. Conway lost last week to a solid Bentonville team 17-10. Conway will depend heavy on his run game. Jonesboro, on the other hand, will rely heavy on their quarterback, Cross Jumper, which is one of our favorite names in the state. Byron to talk about him in just a second. And Jonesboro has a stingy defense as well. Jonesboro only allows 10 points a game, and last week they whooped Batesville 35-7. I'm taking Conway in a close one by 3.
Okay, you know Conway got a sophomore, Manny Smith. He rushed for over 253 yards on the season. Also, junior Bryce Bohannon got 6 catches, 11 over 100 yards this year. Senior Reed Knight, 21 tackles on the defensive end. Like DJ said, quarterback Cross Jumper getting a lot of Division I looks right now. Over 380 yards passing this year, 3 touchdowns. Albert George averaging 8 yards per carry for Jonesboro. And then they got Drayton Bartles, 8 catches, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns on the season. Great stats for Jonesboro, but I like Conway at home by a touchdown.
Okay. Let's go to Bentonville at Tulsa, Washington. Bentonville looks like to be one of the better teams in the state, but they are still working out a few kinks because in the game against Conway, they went in the red zone 3 times and couldn't score. Tulsa, Washington is a really good team, and they're led by 3 D1 stud recruits. I'm taking Tulsa, Washington. They're at home. I think they'll win by a touchdown.
I like Tulsa, Washington in this game too. Like DJ said, they got 3 big time recruits. Their biggest recruit is Javon Hester, 6'4", 185 pounds. He's committed to Missouri, and he's one of the nation's top sprinters. I like Tulsa, Washington in this game by 10. Tulsa, Washington did lose to North Little Rock earlier this season in a pretty good ball game. Bentonville is much improved. They got to get better in the red zone. It's going to be an interesting game to watch. I would love to see this game live.
That's going to be a good one. Yeah. Eldorado at Cabot. Cabot beat Eldorado last year 27-10, and last week Cabot rolled over Pine Bluff 43-19. Eldorado squeaked by Camden Fairview 16-13. Eldorado has a tough run game led by Alex Hicks. Byron, I'll let you know a little bit about him in a second. I'm taking Cabot by 3 at home.
Alex Hicks, 270 yards last week, scored the game-winning touchdown. Big significance in this game, Cabot's coach Scott Reed coached at Eldorado for a few years, won a few state championships, so he knows this personnel that Eldorado has. I like Cabot at home by 1.
He's going to beat his old squad.
I
got you. Let's go to Marion at Parkview. Marion barely beat Parkview last year 20-19. Last week, Marion lost 27-21. And gave up almost 300 yards in rushing. That's pretty tough right there. And Parkview let Springdale come back in the 4th quarter, and they got beat by 24-21. It's going to be a real close one, but I think Parkview pulls it off by 3.
2 great quarterbacks in this game. Parkview issue with junior Landon Rogers, 6'5", 220, D1 prospect. The guy probably can play quarterback and play anywhere on the field. 6'5", 220 pounds. I have him on the defensive side, me personally. And then you got Dedrick Kyle from Marion, 6'1", 205, 62% passer last season, over 2,300 yards in passing, 24 touchdowns. I like Marion in a close one on the road in this one.
Okay. Marion has been looking solid this year.
They have been looking solid.
They have. We go to Pulaski Academy at Ravenwood, Tennessee. Defense versus offense. Undefeated Ravenwood has allowed a total of 34 points in 3 games this season. Pulaski Academy scored 84 in their 1 game this season. PA can't win on the road. They've proven this year in and year out of state on the road. I'm taking PA by 7.
Pulaski Academy quarterback Braden Brasher, 693 yards, 8 touchdowns, and ran for 135 yards in the touchdown in week 0. He had a total of 823 total yards and 9 touchdowns in one game.
How much?
823
In one game.
in one game. He almost had a rack daddy in one game. Pulaski Academy offense is dynamic. If you've never seen it before,
And
it's
that's the
hard
thing.
to scheme for. It's sort of like the service academies in college. If you ain't never seen it before, it's hard to scheme for. I like PA in this game in a close one because Ravenwood plays defense. They scored 21 in the first half last week, and they gave up nothing. So I like PA in this game by 1.
But that whole onside kicks going for fourths.
Going forward on 4th down, onside kicks, 2-point conversion.
That throws you all the way off.
Hard scheme for.
It is. Let's go to Win at Arkadelphia. Win passed twice last week, y'all. Both incompletions. And they still put up a win over Marion. And they rushed for 290 yards. Arkadelphia put up a lot of points in their 2 wins. And last week they beat Ben 33-20. Just because they're at home, I'm taking Arkadelphia by 7.
Man, look, we ain't got a running back by the name of Kayvon Austin. 5'5", 150 pounds, 4'5", 40. So he's short and fast, one of those scat backs type of guys. He was part of their 290 yards rushing that they had last week. But Arkadelphia will counter with you with Braden Buster Thomas. Had 2 touchdowns last week in the win against Benton, defending state champions. They won 10 in a row last year. They still rolling. I like the Badgers in this game at home.
How much you got them by?
Whoa. I'll say the Badgers by 3.
I was about to say, don't try to get away with that. Don't try it. Don't even try it. 4 nights at Camden, Harmony Grove. It's going to be a real good one, y'all.
Ooh, this is going to be a damn.
These 2 teams have split the last 4 meetings, and Harmony Grove won last year 30-28 in a good one. Harmony Grove stomped Bearden last week 54-0. Fordyce won a battle last week against rival Rising. It was 14-8. I'm taking Camden Harmony Grove by 3.
Fordyce junior Courtney Shelton scored on a 40-yard run, and junior quarterback Jaheim Brown scored on a 2-yard run in a 14-8 win over their rival Rising. So that was a 2 scoring. But Zalem Falls, 2 punt returns for a touchdown, 32-yard touchdown versus Bearden last week. Camden Harmony Grove is at the house. Got to go with those guys by a point. Camden Harmony Grove to win that game.
Right. Last but not least, we got Desart and McCrory. McCrory has won 3 of the past 5 in this series, and last year they won 30-28 as well, like the last game. McCrory is coming off a 20-16 win over Barton and had just 9 yards rushing. Desart lost a close one to Bauxite, 32-28. I'm taking Desart by 3.
McCrory got 3 sophomore linebackers that wherever the ball is, they're going to be there. Lathan Brealey, Reed Cannon, and Landon Headley. Landon Headley. Wherever the ball is, they're going to be there. Desart will counter with Jackson Borden, have 430 yards rushing in 2 games. His first game, he had over 290 yards rushing against England. They got a slot back by the name of CJ Conway. I don't know who blood running through that young man, but he cold with it. He scored a touchdown last week, and he had 8 tackles against Bauxite. I have to pick Desart in this game because my sister told me to. CJ Conway is my nephew. I'm picking Desart in this game. In a close one, though, Desart by a point because throughout the records, this is sort of like a makeshift rivalry because McCrory and Desart, they always play tough games. Was in the same conference. They were battling for conference championships when they was playing against each other when they was in the same conference. Tough game, but I'm taking Desart on the road. Shouts out. And this is the last Conway going through Desart, so that's it after that. But Desart.
Y'all, I forgot to warn you at the beginning of the show that Byron is related to somebody that plays for everybody, and if he is related to them, he is going to pick that team. I forgot to tell y'all that.
It's because you pick against. I gotta go home, man. Because you picked against Conway.
I'm trying to be non-biased, man.
Yeah,
I just wanted to throw that out there, y'all.
But dang, you gotta go home.
Y'all, we appreciate y'all tuning in. If it's a game you want us to break down that we missed, make sure to put it in the comments, and we will break it down in the comments for y'all. Usually, I have all my games correct. Byron is gonna miss 50% of his, and we'll holler at y'all next week.
refuse to lose 4 games.
Y'all, this is the Wolves Winning Pick with Blue Report, the Arkansas Grade 8. First episode. Thanks for tuning in.